God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Aloha, my name is Charlie Sinclair, and I am an artist, Native Hawaiian artist, kānaka maoli artist. We are here at my apartment, my home, Queen Emma Gardens in New Orleans. You may hear dogs barking. I have a puppy. I got a puppy. You're going to hear that. To talk about kānaka maoli art, to talk about where I'm going as an artist and what I am trying to do as an artist, but also this is for the community. This is for others to use as a learning tool for purposes of like transgenders who are out there, to I think encourage them to come out and start creating art. And it will also, I think, encourage other LGBTQ people in terms of wanting to do art. It's just a good tool to show that, others can do it and can achieve things.
Can you define kānaka maoli?
Kānaka maoli is basically Native Hawaiians who we are from the Aina. The Aina is a very important thing for Native Hawaiians, and we really identify with that aspect of our lives. I think that if you look at like music, you see a sense of place in almost all Hawaiian music. I mean, I can remember like Waikiki and Maki'ailana and others that are it really talks about place and celebrates the beauty of place and the meaning of place, the kauna of place, and that's what kānaka maolis are really identified with that. What we're trying to do is to say, here we are artists. We need to be given an opportunity.
Is there a difference between the Aina and place?
So for me, I grew up in Mauna Lua, by Mauna Lua Bay, out on the east side of Oahu, and it was a very impressionable place for me because of it wasn't all that developed when I was growing up, and there was so much opportunity there for just exploring, being a child and exploring the outdoors. My father taught me to fish at Mauna Lua Bay. He taught me to lay net, to spearfish, to night fish. I learned to surf there on all the various reefs. There's about 6 or 7 places to access there for surfing. It was a wonderland. I just loved that. I loved it there. But place is important.
Can you give me a small example of how far your family went back?
My family goes back to the first people, but in terms of Hawaii, my family goes back to the Kauai west side, particularly Waimea area, and Ni'ihau. I'm descended from the people who purchased it from the king, and they were the Sinclairs. The Sinclairs, the next generation of heirs for the estate, what is known as the Robinson estate, were the Gay family, and I'm descended from the Gay family. Charles Gay, he's my namesake. Well, I'm his namesake. Charlie Gay was one of the heirs to to take over the interest, but he had to leave. He was asked to leave because he married in secret a Hawaiian, a full-blood Hawaiian, and the family asked him to leave, and they gave him a sizable award of money, his share, and he purchased the island of Leonard. For me, the definition is mahu.
Okay.
I am mahu. I know. It took me a while to get used to that, to accept it, because when I was growing up, mahu, it kind of, sorry, but mahu referred to a lot of people, gay people, and transgenders. Basically, men who have transitioned to be women and live as women. That is the definition of transgender for me. But the transgender also includes males transitioning to women and women transitioning to males. But I am mahu. I am in the Hawaiian tradition. I am, a third gender.
You were a male artist, so your point of view was as a male artist?
I have to say, yeah, that's true. Because I was male, I was living in the role of a father, a husband, and just, guy. And, but I never really fit into that moment. So I'm thinking, when I think back, I feel that there was a lot of femininity in my person, who I am, was. I hid it. I have to bury it, but I think it came through in my work. And now that I've transitioned, it's just like I'm free to express it totally. It's not just something. Why did you make that pretty? I don't.
So, you still go by Charlie Dickson? Or do you have a new name?
I go by Charlie Sinclair now. I changed my name to, and I took my historical family's name, Sinclair's, and I kept the name Charlie because that was my great-grandfather's name. Yeah, I like it. I also kept the Hawaiian name that my parents gave to me, which is Naniwaialeale. So when we talk about place, a lot of me is really connected with Kauai. After the mountain on Hawaii, the Central Mountain. The wettest place on earth.
In the abstract, what is your art about?
My art is well, as you just said, abstract. I do a lot of abstraction, but I've gotten to a point where I'm starting to realize that my art I was painting for myself, painting for my ego, painting for, this is me, look what I did. I'm painting for others now. I'm painting for the community. I'm painting paintings that other people will find meaningful. So I've changed my whole perspective from myself to others. It's a psychic shift that takes place. A sense of ohana, and people connected to our ohana. And we have different ohanas, all of us, and certainly the art community is one ohana. And for me, I feel that we are really pushing forward as a group, as a collective. in terms of art, and we do identify that way as well.
Can you name any artists, either internationally or locally, that you admire or have influenced you?
Of course, locally, there's so many native artists that have influenced me. Like you just, Kazu Pauinana is one, Sean Brown another, and there's so many artists here. Even the Asian artists. There's something about being local in this local community, but like Sato was a big influence. I like his work. Abe too. But in terms of a broader perspective, broader kind of venue, I tended to like the abstract expressionists mostly, and people like Joan Mitchell and Helen Frankenthaler. There was Robert Motherwell, Jasper Johns, a whole slew of people who did art as expression. It wasn't, this is what we think, or what we plan to do, what we thought of. This is the meaning we want in our painting and doing the work of art and doing it. Of course, that's a totally valid way to do it. It's a really important way. But for others, abstract expressionism says, way I do it is I work quite intuitively, spontaneously, and it's sort of a progression, an evolutionary progression, like a concept or an idea or a thought about, or I've seen some pattern or colors together, and I think, wow, that's something I should explore. I have a friend, Jerry Vasconcelos, and I told him, he's a sculptor. I said, I want to take up sculpting. He got so angry with me. What are you talking about? You'd have to go right back to the beginning and start all over again, because you just can't switch over. Of course, he's a very dedicated sculptor. And I've known artists who have done other things. So that's possible, but I work on canvas, and I work with acrylic paints and all kinds of things. I draw on it, I paint, draw, scratch. Whatever I can find that will make a color and a line or a shape, I use. I see myself just continuing to work. I can't imagine not painting, because it's for most artists, it's a way of life. It's how we find meaning. We're talking about my being transgender, maoli, and that influences my art. The way I'm exploring being a woman allows me to have those sensibilities. I can express my sensibilities so much more. I can be honest. It's important that Native Hawaiian artists, kānaka maoli artists, know that they can achieve success in art. It's hard. The money comes with the struggle, but what better life to be an artist, to create and do that. In terms of purpose of this video, it's to teach, but it's also to reach out to those who are minorities, like transgenders, mahus. There's so much, I try to reach out to other transgenders, other mahus, and there's so much fear there to come out, to be out there. I think the other thing about this, what I wanted to say is, for Native Hawaiian artists, we need to, and we already are really smart. We already are achieving. We're with shows like Ai Pohaku, we have presented ourselves that here we are, and our art is good. Art is, for me, is no longer about me, so much my ego. Of course, I want to create good things, but it's about sharing this with others. Doing it for them, not just for me. First, let's look at the picture of my mother. There's a couple of them. I want to talk about her because she was like my hero in so many ways. She championed my difference, and channeled me to education and law school, further. In my art, she supported me. She always protected me. She was a very hard-working woman we had 6 kids in our family. She put us all through practice school. My father, of course, helped. he was an awesome guy, but he was a physical guy. He used to be a sports hero in local terms at Punahou and Roosevelt. And he, of course, is the one who passes down the lineage from the Sinclairs. He is the descendant. He was a gay. Yeah. So those people are always around. Just some other pictures of Mauna Loa. And I go there now. Every so often, take my puppy, and I just sit there and I just, remember the things we like, enjoy it. It's a beautiful place. One of the pictures I wanted to talk about is called Auntie's Bougainvillea. It's one that is a daytime kind of representation. And this is sort of my style now. This is my style. I am painting. And I think it's all a part of my outgrowth as this transition that I've been in for 7 years now. It's the next one's called Auntie's Bougainvillea, but it's an evening depiction. And these are very expressive for me. I've tried to paint other ones. Well, before I was painting pictures that were not as floral. I don't know why. I've started to progress towards much more floral expressions. This one is another one. It's called Auntie Irene's Daylilies. My Auntie Irene had a big house at the top of Hawaiian, and she had this huge fountain, and she grew daylilies around it. And I've done some like these. Okay. And these are sort of mystic. The series is called Mystic. And I took, shapes. They remind me almost of Sato's work. It's they're very abstract and patterned, but colorful. I've always used color. It's a very important thing for me to do, to use a lot of color. I just love the expressiveness of color. So I did a whole series of that. But this one I wanted to show because it kind of got a recognition. It's sort of dark here, but it's this one right here. It's called Imu, and I did this piece, and I realized that afterwards it was about, I wanted to do an Imu thing, but I realized it was about my daughter's first birthday, and everything that happened there. I burned about, coloring a pig, and it was everything from the slaughtering, which was pretty harsh, from the slaughtering all the way to the preparation of the food for the guests. And it was such a spiritual time, standing out there with my father and my uncle, the moon up above and the moon all lit up. It was a real bonding experience. But yeah, that one, that was the one I got into Aipohaku, and actually Namea purchased it. These are my show. These are more of my abstract pieces, more pattern, more native actually, more kānaka maoli. A lot of things, like one of them is called puka, the other one is called, I did this whole series of ones that are based on kapa patterns. So it's interesting. Here's a piece. These are pieces that I did a while back. But when I look at my older work, I can see that how I got here to where I am today. And there's a lot of native kind of patterns in here, and it looks like a quilt almost, this kind of thing. So, and I have that kind of, I always had that sort of concept in my mind, the quilt, the bed quilt, how they had different patterns. My art just started to express that in my own patterns. These are just some pictures of my show that I added to the mix. It shows of pohakus and the kapa pieces. I could go on forever, but that's about. I wanted to talk about those primary pieces that I'm doing now. I want to thank you for watching my video. I hope you got meaning from it. And I just want to say aloha and mahalo to all of the people who are now in places of influence and means, who are Native Hawaiian, who are kānaka maoli, and they are forging this path for Native Hawaiians. They really are pushing grants, obtaining monies to put on shows like I. It's like you mentioned, there's a real collective nature to our process. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to live. The whole mindset of being ohana, taking care of the island, taking care of this place, and being of this place. It's so beautiful. But aloha, and thank you all for watching this.